Lordy, lordy, oh me, oh my. Guess what? Big Daddy Madison here coming to you today because I'm excited to teach you how to win any argument, master any debate, and never lose a fight. All right, that is the promise by today's video. I'm gonna show you 4 ways to do that. This is 5, I can't even count. 4 ways to do that by the end of today's video. So it's gonna be a game changer for you and you are going to learn so much, it's gonna blow your mind. We got a video, it's a versus between Joe Elk Meat DMT Rogan and Ben Conservative Angry All the Time Shapiro, okay? I love these videos because it gives me the opportunity to take some of your favorite people that are out there, some of the people that I enjoy watching, and really see like what makes them so popular. So you can incorporate these techniques into your communication and be equally as effective because we all want to do that. Now, I love Joe Rogan. I love me some Joe Rogan. Okay, I really mean I'm a fan of him. I'm actually a fan of Ben Shapiro as well. So this was hard for me. It wasn't easy. I'm crying little man tears inside. Now, before we jump into the breakdown of today's verses, I want to inspire you to get involved in my conversation challenge. I had one happen a few months ago and I'm bringing it back by popular demand. It was an amazing success. All the people that you see here have done it and had great results. They were ranting and raving about it. So I want to bring it back again. I think it's time. It's going to be even better than before. So click the link down below. You'll learn how to never run out of things to say. Learn how to talk and talk forever. You'll learn how to not have your brain go against you in conversations that work with you. And of course, win more debates in any fight you're in, all right? So there's a link down there. You know what you gotta do. Take your mouse, take your finger, go click it. What's gonna allow you to do is sign up to the group, okay? It's 100% free. Now, once you're in there, you're gonna be notified when the challenge starts so you don't miss it.
Explain the 1619 correlation to people, if you would.
Sure. So the 1619 Project is something put forward by the New York Times. It's not good history. There are 4 Pulitzer Prize-winning historians who have said this is not good history. The basic argument is the United States was not founded in 1776 with the principles of the Declaration of Independence. The country was actually founded in 1619 with the importation of African slaves to American shores, because that's when the first African slave arrived in the United States, was 1619. So the idea is that the entire history of America is a history of a system that is endemically white supremacist, and that all of the Declaration of Independence is basically a lie, that the principles of all men are created equal, that was a lie when it was written, and it's a lie now, that the idea that we have rights that pre-exist government, that's a lie. All of these things are lies. The Constitution was built in order to enshrine white supremacy, and no evolution has taken place. So
all right, first tip here, never, ever, ever talk in absolutes, which is a never in itself, right? Never, never, ever talk in absolutes. So words like never, things like you always, things like you, those people, right? You're talking in absolutes. Now, when you talk in an absolute, it sounds great for you, allow you to make your point very simple, but let's call it the BS detector in somebody else's mind who's listening to you, they go, oh, that can't be true. So although they're listening, you lose like, and they could be even nodding their head, you lose like 5%, and it doesn't really show on the surface, but deep down as the conversation goes on, you lose another 5% every time you do it, right? So it makes you less believable because it's very easy for simple-minded people to agree with absolutes, right? But the thing is, when you're having a intellectual conversation, something that can be backed up by details, facts, then talking in absolutes just makes you kind of look lame, to be honest. And life isn't always that simple. There are principles, you know, like save money for a rainy day, or do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And those principles are true. But when you're making an argument or a fight and you're talking absolutes, you're almost going to be guaranteed to have the rug slipped out underneath you and you're going to lose at some point in the future.
Right. But isn't there always something like that? There's always like extremes on each position and the truth lies somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, but I don't think that it lies as far in the dead center of that as people, I think, want it to.
But you clearly see that there's a big difference between people coming over here willingly and doing so in order to better their lives versus someone whose ancestors were dragged over here to be sold as property, and then dealing with the repercussions of that being your family history and red line laws and all the other things that were put in place to sort of keep them in very specific areas, which to this day remain crime-ridden, gang-ridden, deeply impoverished communities.
Well, that's true, but the question is how much of that is historic redlining and how much of that is an 18-year-old kid today deciding to pick up a gun and shoot somebody?
But how much of that 18-year-old kid today deciding to pick up a gun and shoot somebody is based on him growing up in this fucked up environment where that's what he models, where everything around him is crime and gangs, and you imitate your atmosphere, which is what all humans do.
Right, but the answer is there's only one way to break that chain.
What way is that?
That way is to not pick up a gun and shoot somebody.
I think
This part right here is absolute masterful genius done to the nth degree, all right? This is why Joe Rogan is so popular. He can have anybody on his podcast. It's because when he talks, he's not just talking about his opinion and who he thinks he is. He's talking in questions. And he almost kind of sounds dumb in a way, but he's not. He's probably the smartest guy in the room.
But when he's talking, he's like, I wonder if it's possible that, or he'll say, isn't it true? Or have you ever looked at or thought about, right?
He's not talking at you. He's reasoning with you. He's talking with you in the conversation. And he's also agreeing with both sides. He's like, yes, that's true, but also this may be true. Because that's how life is. A lot of times it's not one thing that's only true, right? Like we talk about absolutes. A lot of the times, both opinions are valid. So think about your life. You make plans with a friend and you think it's perfectly clear. You tell them the time and the place you're gonna meet. But your friend is waiting for you to confirm that morning of. So who's right in that situation? Both people have their point of view, and both point of views can be right. Sometimes. The truth is usually somewhere in the middle, as Joe Rogan is trying to say. So what I love that he's doing here is he's arguing both sides of it. He's asking questions while agreeing with the other side. And that's the best way to get ahead. Absolute genius.
And so the idea was we're going to fight this war on poverty and alleviate poverty largely through transfer payments and through the government taking a forcible step in favor of alleviating people's lives. We've now spent $22 trillion in the war on poverty, and we have about the same number of black Americans living under the poverty line as were living under the poverty line by the late 70s. The real issues that are creating intergenerational poverty, everyone knows this, but remains true. The number one predictor of intergenerational poverty in the United States remains single motherhood. The single motherhood rate in the black community was 20% in 1960. It is upward of 70% today. That's not unique to the black community, by the way. It's true in the white community as well. The 5% of white kids were born out of wedlock in 1960. Today, it's upward of 40%. That is not, something has happened, and it is not a matter of increased racism. That's not happening because of increased racism, right? That is happening because there's been a cultural change that does not place tremendous emphasis for black or white or for anybody on personal responsibility and personal agency. There needs to be a mindset change.
Now, one of the things Ben starts to do here is he starts to get into statistics, right? And the funny thing about numbers is they can't tell a story. I have a buddy of mine who has a great company, really big. It's actually Bloomberg's 40 under 40. And he says whoever has the most data wins. In life, that's usually true. The more information you have, the better you can do. But think about this. In a conversation, when you drop a quick fact, quick information, it sounds really, really smart. It sounds really intelligent, and nobody can dispute it until they go back and look it up, right? And also, if you really rely on statistics, they can be argued either way. For example, there's people that always argue about being vegetarian. They'll say,
vegetarian is the way to go, right? It's healthier. It's morally right.
There's people that are like, vegetarian.
Carnivore is the way to go. Hunter-gatherer diet.
Right? There's a conversation or an argument that can be made for both points based on the facts in the medical report and statistics. So what am I saying? Statistics make you sound really smart in the moment. In the moment, you're a badass. You're super intelligent. You're just rattling off information. Until somebody goes and looks it up, and it's maybe not always right, and they can find facts that go against that. The opposite facts. So what I'm saying to you is don't rely on statistics to always win an argument, to win a debate, and to sound right, because it works for a while, but it's not going to work all the time.
it seemed to be people that have gotten out and then come back and talk to them.
Right.
And tell them how to do it.
But
and
none of this has
can
to do.
be done.
But to go back to the original conversation, none of this has to do with telling kids that you live in an evil country that's seeking to keep you down.
Well, maybe not, but there has been a very small amount of emphasis placed on taking these impoverished communities and figure out how to engineer them out of the situation.
Well, I don't think that's true. I don't think
Really?
that's true. Yeah, I mean, the amount that we've spent on a federal level and a state level on educational programs and poverty programs
Over time. But like,
no, on a year-to-year level. I mean, these are enormous quantities of money. This is not really a money problem. It really is not a money problem in just terms of you could sign everybody a check tomorrow, right? The predicate. So the predicate for the slavery reparations movement is exactly this: sign everybody a $80,000 check, and the problem will be alleviated.
No, it won't.
I don't think that's right.
I think they'll spend the $80,000 and they'll be right back where they started from. But I do think that there is an argument that there can be some way of engineering, whether it's community centers or education or doing something differently in these places to chip away at this problem.
The goal of any argument or disagreement or any fight that you want to win is not to be right. That is not the goal. You might think it is coming in, but that's actually not the goal. It's very low-minded. It's all ego. It's all about me and how do I look and am I winning. A better goal, think about this, is to not be right, but find the right answer. When you start to find the right answer, now you're in a higher purpose. Now you're in win-win. Now you're looking for a solution and you're able to solve problems that you couldn't solve if you were trapped in me, right? Looking for the right answer puts you in that 10,000 perspective, that bird's eye view that lets you see past the trees and all the mountains and everything, right? Lets you see exactly the whole terrain. And when you go into that level, you're not concerned with petty things. Somebody who's going to be a winner is going to be able to adjust halfway on the path. So if you're focused on me and am I right, you can't adjust halfway. You get stuck in that. You see Ben having that situation in his argument right now with Joe. He can't adjust as much. But somebody who can adjust halfway, incorporate new information, incorporate new ideas, new facts, that person can then continue to win the situation or win the argument or win new solutions. It's a better paradigm to come from. It's a higher paradigm. It's a higher level of thought. And it's what I encourage everybody to have in any kind of disagreement. Look for the right answers. So what do we learn here? I've written it down for you so far. We've learned that don't talk in absolutes. It can be very dangerous. We said argue both sides of the position. That way the audience always listens to you. We said statistics can go both ways. So either have more information or don't use them at all. And he said for the right answer. Don't work to be right, because you get trapped and limited in how you can maneuver. That's just the tip of the iceberg. It's some of the stuff that's available in this breakdown right here. But I mean, we can go so much more deeper than this. I've actually broken it down to about 12 rules of conversations. And this is the martial art, as it were, to make conversations very simple. There's only 12 laws you gotta find, or 12 principles, okay? I distilled it down to truths, because when you understand truths, you can grow in any situation from there. Like Bruce Lee says, once you understand the truth of something, you're just hacking away at the non-essentials. So I try to get my stuff down to the most hardcore, purest form, and that is the truth. And that's what I teach in my laws of conversation, all right? So if you have enjoyed what you see and you want to work with me more, that's something that's on your bucket list of things you've always wanted to do, I encourage you to join one of my free conversation mentoring calls. I don't like promoting stuff. I don't like marketing things unless I think it's absolutely worth it, and this is, all right? You hop on the call with me and my team, and we figure out what's not working for you in your conversations. It's as easy as that. Once you have that clarity, it gives you power and enhances you in your life. This is not a call you just get on and get lots of information. It's a call that we actually help analyze what's not working for you and then figure out some things you could do to improve that situation. Be more charismatic, funny, never run out of things to say, be able to win arguments and conversations, discussions, think of all the ways you could use that and that would impact your life, right? From your relationships, maybe getting a little more adventurous relationship, or all the way to your work and employees that you manage. The possibilities are endless. So anyways, it's a no-brainer, 100% free call. Click the link, go to conversationmentoring.com, quick application, 3 or 4 questions, you fill it out, bada bing, bada boom, and we're making progress and I'm working with you, all right? So that's it for now, and thank you very much for watching. As always, keep in touch and don't be a stranger. Deuces.